Hey everyone, and welcome to the start of another travel series. In today's episode, we're going to be flying from here in Manchester all the way to Beijing in China. In the coming episodes, we're going to be spending 3 weeks touring China, starting in Beijing in the north, going all the way to Hong Kong in the south. But first, we've got to catch a bus from the airport car park, go into Terminal 3 and check in for our flight. We've just finished checking in our bags and now it's time to go through security. So we've made it through security and we've come to a place that I normally come to in Terminal 3, this area here, which is really quiet. So it's upstairs by the escape lounge. Not many people actually come up here because most people think it's just the escape lounge, but there's actually this viewing area to see the runway as well. And there's never anybody up here. Like, it's very quiet compared with what it is downstairs. So this is going to be the first leg of our trip to Beijing, simply flying internally from here in Manchester to London Heathrow. Flight time's going to be way less than an hour, so we're just relaxing for a bit. We're not going to get breakfast here. We're going to wait till we get to Heathrow and get our lunch. Once we get to Heathrow, I'll tell you a bit more about our trip. We've got about a 3.5 hour layover there, so there's plenty of time to relax and get our dinner.
We do have an air traffic restriction at the moment, which means the earliest we can take off is at 10:20. So for that reason, we'll probably be here on stand for about another 20 minutes until about 5:00. Because we're ready to go, we'll tell air traffic that, and with any luck, that slot can improve. But the worst case is being here another 20 minutes. Once we do get going, expecting to taxi out for about 10 minutes, taking off to the southwest, and a left turn down to the south at 19,000 feet with flight time on 40 minutes. It should mostly be smooth for the flight. It might be a little bit bumpy through the range house here.
There was about a 20-minute delay pushing back, but now it's nice and sunny outside. There was some wind and some rain in Manchester, which is a reason for the delay. And when we took off, the plane was a bit like that. But everything's okay now. The stewardess has come around, give us a drink of water and also a snack. So have a drink of that and eat that shortly. Probably only, I think, another 20 minutes and we're going to be in London Heathrow. So like I said earlier, this is just a short internal flight, just from Manchester to Heathrow, just before we can board our flight to Beijing later on. So at the moment, it is looking really nice outside. Lower down's probably a bit of rain and some wind, but up here, nice blue skies. And I'll speak to you guys when we get to Heathrow. See you soon. So we just made it to London Heathrow. The plane landed and taxied to a really remote area of the airport. Then we needed to get a bus. That took about 10 minutes, but we're now here in Terminal 5 and we're following signs for flight connection. So we've just come through a really quick security check. We didn't actually have to check all the bags or anything like that. We just had to scan our boarding passes, go through an automatic gate, and now we're here in Terminal 5. And because it's almost lunchtime, it's almost 11:30, we decided to come to Wetherspoon's for some lunch. Me and Matthew are going to go for a burger, and Holly's going for a pepperoni pizza. And it is extremely busy here. Look at this. So Holly has got her pepperoni pizza, looking very happy with it. Matthew digging into his ultimate burger already. Although the portion size is pretty small for an ultimate, if I'm completely honest. And I got the same as Matthew, an ultimate burger as well. We finished our lunch. I think it all came to about £46, which obviously is a little bit more expensive because we're in an airport compared with a normal Wetherspoon on a high street somewhere. Anyway, we're going to try and sit down for a little bit because we've just found out our flight's now being delayed by an hour and 15 minutes. So we've still got 3.5 hours to wait. So when we finish here, we'll go for a walk around, get ourselves some bottles of water ready for the flight, look at all the shops, maybe buy some sweets from somewhere, and try and find somewhere else to sit down out of the way. Like I said, it's really busy here today. It is a Saturday at the beginning of a school holiday, so I imagine lots of people are going away at the moment. So as we've got quite a long time to wait here, we've come into like a corner somewhere. A lot quieter than everywhere else. Got a nice kind of view out the window behind me here. There's a few planes over there. Mainly all British Airways. I think the majority of Terminal 5 is all British Airways, actually. So we're just sitting here. Got about, 3 hours to go? Yeah, Matthew's listening to his music. Holly's on her phone. I'm just going to look out the window, I think. So our flight to Beijing is on British Airways BA 0039. So it's direct from London Heathrow to Beijing Daxing Airport. I think the flight time is about 12 hours. As I mentioned earlier, it has been delayed by about an hour and 15 minutes so far. So that's not too bad, that's acceptable. Due to get into Beijing tomorrow, which would be a Sunday, around midday, I think. So once we get into Beijing, they're going to get to our hotel, which is the Universal Studios Hotel in Beijing, and go to Universal Studios. So we're going to be really tired tomorrow. I think the main priority at the moment is just relax here in Heathrow Terminal 5 until it's time to go to our gate, which is going to be a few hours. We're going to be spending 3 weeks in China, traveling all the way from Beijing in the north to Hong Kong in the south. And along the way, we're going to be stopping in Xi'an, Shanghai, Chengdu, Guilin, Yangshuo. I think that's it. Yeah, and then finish in Hong Kong. So you see a lot of people on YouTube at the moment taking advantage of the 166-hour visa waiver. We can't do that because we're here for 3 weeks. Got a proper visa for China. It's a multi-entry. Each entry is valid up to 90 days, and the whole visa itself is valid for 2 years. So if we want to come back in the future, in the next couple of years, we can. It was a really simple process to get our visas. We simply went to our nearest China visa office, which is in Manchester. We completed all the forms beforehand, printed them out for the 3 of us. We had to show evidence of all the hotels, our inward travel, our outward travel. I had my fingerprints taken there. And then we simply waited about 4 days to get the visas. They were granted really easily. And now we're here in the airport. They recommend you do that about a month in advance, but I did it about 2 months in advance just to be sure. This trip has been a long time in the planning. Originally, we were coming to China in 2021, but obviously, the state of the world back then, you simply couldn't get here. And we postponed it year after year since then. And now here we are in March 2024, and we're about to go to China, and we're all really excited. There's only so much walking around you can do. Do need to stretch my legs because obviously 12-hour flight, my legs are going to get a bit buggered. It's 2:25. We still haven't been given a gate yet, but it does say we need to be in Area C. So we're going to walk over there now. So we now need to get a transit from where we are down here in A, all the way over to C. everybody's got off at section B, so we've got the whole train to ourselves. And we've arrived at section C. I think we're going to go up the escalators. We've just been given a gate, it's number 61, and it's straight ahead of us here. We're going to be boarding as part of Group 7, which means we'll probably be waiting for a little while before everybody else goes off in front of us. But at the moment, the place is pretty empty, so hopefully there'll be quite a bit of space on the plane, but I highly doubt it. So there's our plane. I believe it's a Boeing 777-300, but don't quote me on that. Good luck. They spotted me with Holly and Matthew and said, do we want to pre-board because I'm travelling with my children? Excellent, so we're going to be one of the first people on the plane. Looking forward to this, Holly? Yeah. Yeah, got you. And it is now raining quite heavily outside. It's a bit of a walk to our plane. It's 20 to 4 and we've just boarded the plane. Hopefully we should be taking off in about 20 minutes time. Luckily we had pre-boarding because the cabin member spotted me and Holly and Matthew and said, oh, if you're travelling with your children you can pre-board. So we were pretty much one of the first people on the plane, which allowed us to put our bag up in the overhead compartment, which is always frustrating sometimes because people bring basically suitcases with them and normally fill those if you're last on board. We're 3 of us and we're travelling with one small little rucksack, but at the moment we've basically got whole thing to ourselves. If you look at this, so if you look there, here's the flight, pretty empty at the moment. What would be living the dream is if nobody comes to those middle seats over there and we can spread out and no one would go to sleep lengthways. It's happened in the past, but I doubt it's going to happen this time. So we're just waiting now to take off. So let's have a look out the window. It's quite sunny, although it's raining off and on. It's also a bit windy, so let's see what takeoff's going to be like, if it's going to be rough or not. Okay, this is what the seat looks like. So this is economy. It's quite narrow if I'm honest. So the 3 of us are here. There's Matthew and Holly. And it's not a touchscreen, which I was hoping for, like it is on most planes. You have to use this controller here. It's easy enough to get out, just that there. And you control it via these buttons here. So let's have a look what movies they've got, shall we? So let's click on Watch. Movies. I think I'll go for newest releases, because that's always the best thing to look at. See what's new here. Okay, so this is what they've got. Can you see that properly? We've got Trolls Band Together, got Wonka, High Life on Demand, Haunting in Venice, Kind of Kidnapping, Americanish, Asteroid City, Barbie, Blue Beetle. Anyway, you can see these. So I guess reasonably recent ones. So most of these were in the cinema last year, I'm gonna guess. Okay, so that's for there. Tell you what I always like to look at, the map itself. So let's click on the flight map. So we haven't taken off yet. So it's currently 4 o'clock. This is when we're meant to be taking off. Well, actually we're meant to be taking off at 2:45, but they're rescheduled to 4 o'clock. Our estimated time of arrival in Beijing is at midday tomorrow. But let's go to the interactive map, shall we? How do we get over there? So I'm using the control, but it's not actually doing anything. It's frozen. So, okay, there's a map. I'll have a proper look at that while we're flying, I think. But we have got a USB, so I'm going to be charging some things up there. There's no screen on the window, looks like an electronic one. Using that there. This is pretty small, where to store your magazines and things in. Leg room. don't know, not that much room if I'm completely honest. Loads for Holly. Look at that. And Matthew's not too bad. The table is one of the fold out ones, double fold out like that. And for reference, we're in row 39, seats A, B and C. Hopefully we're going to push back soon. I'll speak to you guys when we're up in the air. Okay, a quick update. It's 20 to 5. We were due to take off 40 minutes ago. The captain's just come over the tannoy now to say the plane is actually just going through some routine maintenance, which is a little bit worrying, especially because we're flying on Boeing, and the Boeing track record of the last few weeks haven't actually been the best, shall we say. The aircon is not working, so it's really, really warm in here. I just hope we get to take off pretty soon, because at the moment it looks like even if we take off now, we should be arriving maybe 20 to 1 tomorrow afternoon. It's a bit later than originally planned when we were scheduled to leave at 2:45, but as long as we get there in one piece, I don't really care. So I will keep you updated when we find out when we're going to be leaving.
Once we get going, we'll be pushing back from here. It's a long taxi out the other end of the airport, taking on in a westerly direction. Turning back on ourselves, down from Europe, initially climbing up to our cruising altitude of 37,000 feet and onwards towards Beijing. Quite a good flight time in the region of 10 hours and 50 minutes.
Finally taken off. In the end, we left at 5:15, which is exactly 2.5 hours after the original scheduled flight. Takeoff was really smooth. The skies are lovely and clear. I guess now we're just going to wait for them to do the food and beverage service. I think I'm going to get myself a Coke. I'd imagine Matthew will have an orange juice, and I suspect Holly will have a lemonade. Fingers crossed there's not much turbulence along the way. I'll keep you guys updated as we go along. See you later. I've now switched with Matthew. He wants to sit by the window for a bit. It's just after 7 o'clock UK time, and they've just come around with a meal service. There was two options, either aubergines with pasta or Kung Pao chicken, and as you can see, I've gone for the Kung Pao chicken. Haven't tasted it yet, but hopefully it should be okay. We've got some sort of, I don't know what that is actually, maybe some grains or some rice, and it looks like a pea in there, and with some sort of sauce. Then for dessert, we've got wild berry crumble and custard, bread roll, some crackers, some butter and some cheese, and I went for another Coke as well, just like earlier.
It's quite nice.
Okay. It's just after 8 o'clock UK time. I've just finished eating my dinner. It was Kung Pao chicken and it tasted really, really good. I've been watching Oppenheimer as well, the movie Oppenheimer. I didn't get a chance to see it in the cinema. I haven't been bothered to watch it, if I'm honest, at home, because it's a bit of a long film. So this is the perfect opportunity to see it. I'm going to finish watching that, and if they turn the lights out, I'm going to try and get a bit of sleep. See you guys later. They've just come around with some mini magnums, so
me and Matthew are eating them. Holly doesn't really like these kind of things, so she had one trial and eat that as well. It's 20 to 7 in the morning Beijing time. We've still got over 5 hours to go. I finished watching Oppenheimer about an hour ago, and I've been trying to go to sleep ever since. It's just not going to be happening. I just can't get comfortable. The same for Matthew and Holly as well. They both can't sleep. So we're going to try again. We're going to try and go to sleep. I've just had that ice cream that you just saw there. That was a nice addition. Nice and cool. Let's try and go back to sleep, shall we? I'll see you later. So they've just come around with breakfast. Matthew and Holly have gone for the English breakfast. So there's a sausage, tomato, mushrooms, omelette, and some beans with a fruit salad and a muffin. I have gone for the frittata. So just like a bit of a quiche. So again, fruit salad and a muffin. So we've just finished our breakfast now, and there's only 59 minutes left until we arrive at Beijing. Altogether, although we couldn't really sleep very well, Holly got maybe about half an hour. Me and Matthew didn't really get any sleep at all. It's been a reasonable flight. I only watched one film. I think Holly watched one film as well. She watched Trolls. I watched Oppenheimer. I think I'm going to swap seats again with Matthew shortly so I can film out the window for you guys to see us land.
Team on board and British Airways, I would like to thank you for choosing to fly with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you, and a very good afternoon to you all.
We have now arrived in Beijing. China, Holly.
Yeah.
We've arrived at Beijing Daxing Airport. I think we've got to go through security now, show our visas. I believe they've got to do our fingerprints as well. Not sure how long the walk's going to be, but we've made it to China, Holly. It is very clean weather so far. Right, so here I believe we've got to do our fingerprints. So let's start. That's me done. Okay, now I think we do Matthew. We've just done our fingerprint scans. Matthew and Holly didn't need to do it because they're children. I had to do it, and you get a ticket as well. So I've just put that with my passport, and now we're going to go through security and pick up our bag. So as I mentioned earlier, we're not on a 166-hour transit visa. We've actually got multi-entry visas, so hopefully this should be pretty straightforward. Each entry is also valid for up to 90 days, so we can spend almost as much time as we like in China, but we are only here for 23 days. And hopefully we're going to see as much as we possibly can, and we're going to really enjoy it, fingers crossed. The thing I've noticed about this airport, it's really, really quiet. There's hardly anybody here. We're just filling out the arrival cards now, then we're going through security over there. Probably take me about 5 minutes to fill out all 3 of these. We made it through security. That took about an hour, but it was mainly just waiting in the queue. When we finally got to see the security person, it was about 5 minutes. Went through really straightforward. I did my fingerprints again. Back in Holly didn't need to do that. So we're in the baggage claim. Worryingly, there's no sign saying what carousel we're on. There's only a sign for 2. One coming from Korea and one coming from Amsterdam. So we haven't got a carousel yet, even though we've been here for almost an hour and a half now. So we're just going to go to the carousel that's moving and seeing if that's there. So we've got our first bag already. Where is it? Oh, where is it, Holly? So what we're going to do now is transfer some stuff out of this backpack we've had on the flight, put it into the case, and then we're going to go outside and find a taxi to our hotel. The luggage rearranged, now it's time to leave the airport. Let's find that taxi rank, shall we? So as you clear customs, it's pretty straightforward by the look of it. There's a big taxi sign up here. The area is called 1F, so we're going to follow that taxi sign, probably just out the door over there. In fact, in 1F, just to show you what's here. So we're going to be taking a taxi, so we're going to 1F there. If you're going to get the train, B1, and if you've been parking, which most tourists won't be, it's 2F. So let's go this way to the taxi. Right, this is where we see how cold or warm it is outside. So you can't get clearer than that. Beijing taxi, 20 meters this direction. Looks like over here. You two okay? Yeah. I think it's now 1:40, so 20 to 2. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get to the hotel. We looked at Google Maps, it might take about an hour. I'm not sure how much it's going to be though. Looking at some things online, the airport to the centre of Beijing, it says about €30, about £25. But we'll see. If we were going to do this by metro, it was going to take over 2 hours. So I wanted to get a taxi. It's a lot quicker, more convenient. At the moment, the roads are pretty clear as well. So it looks like the airport's quite far out of the city, if I'm honest. Like this 50 fields to the side of us, and we're just starting to come into an area now, as you can probably see here. So we're just starting to come to an area now which has just got some high-rise buildings over there. So we've arrived at the hotel. The taxi came to, if I'm honest, I'm not 100% sure what it came to. On the actual meter, it was 192. So I couldn't pay with Alipay because there was no internet connection to use that. So I handed him 200. And then he kept saying, no, no, no. And then he gave me a little receipt and I couldn't read anything on it because it was all Chinese. So that took a couple of minutes to sort out. So I gave him an extra 50. Then he said it was okay. So basically I paid 250 yuan to come here. That's about £25, maybe a little bit more. So we've checked into the hotel. We've come up here to room 7312. So we're on the 7th floor. I'm going to put a quick room tour on this video just after I've stopped speaking to you now. But before I do that, look at this view. We've got a Hollywood Boulevard view. That's Universal Studios Beijing right out of our window here. So we're just going to have a really quick freshen up because it is now, time is it? 20 to 3 in the afternoon. The park closes at 8. We're all pretty tired, so we're probably just going to go there for a couple of hours because I've got a 2-day ticket for today and for tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be the main day in Universal Studios. But yeah, I quite like this hotel already, especially that view. So I'm just going to put a quick room tour in now. So here is our room tour. Okay, so this is a quick room tour of room 7312 at the Universal Studios Hotel in Beijing. So you come through the main door. On the right hand side here is the bathroom. In here, we've got the stand-up shower and some nice little toiletries there as well. It's a rain shower head. Here's the vanity area. There we've got the sink unit, a couple of complimentary bottles of water, soap, body wash, hair dryer in there, toothbrushes, lots of toothbrushes, a comb. So more toothbrushes than we're ever going to need. Extra towels down there. And then in here is the toilet itself. Over here, we've got more complimentary water, some tea, coffee in there, a kettle. In here, we've got a safe and a fridge. So we keep our water in there to keep it nice and cool. Here, we've got a wardrobe. Lots of space in there. What's in here? Oh, fire escape mask. Hopefully we won't need to use that. Big long mirror there. And in the main bedroom area, we've got 2 double beds. That's a little Hollywood sign over the beds there. Place to put our luggage here. Very long desk area with Holly and Matthew waiting for me to finish doing this tour so we can go and explore the park. Really large TV on the wall. And then this has got such an amazing view. Are you ready for this? We have a theme park view. So this is the Hollywood Boulevard view room. We're on the 7th floor, but there is Universal Studios Beijing right ahead of us. What a great view it's got. And just for reference, the cost of this, I actually booked it through trip.com. And the total cost for 2 nights in the end of March, so a Sunday night and a Monday night, came to £390. So I hope you enjoyed that room tour. What I'm going to do now is finish this video off here. And in the next video, we'll be exploring Universal Studios just in the afternoon. So we're going to be taking it easy. So that was our travel day, coming all the way from Manchester to Heathrow to Beijing. And now we're in Universal Studios Beijing. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. It's really appreciated. If you're new here, my name's Mark, along with my daughter Holly and son Matthew. We make travel and theme park videos from around the world. And I think here's Holly with a special message.
If you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Bye!
Bye! Next time on Travel Short's epic China trip.